Wellness Talk, where together we will discover how to live well.
Okay.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Okay.
Good. Okay. Last two episodes we talked about how the change in our life past few month.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not weeks.
Yeah.
And how do you think this have changed with the business?
Well, definitely with our business, we're in weddings, so everything's been postponed. We've had like maybe one cancellation of like a portrait session or something like that, but for the most part, like our main moneymaker, which is weddings, so our wedding couples have not canceled; they've just postponed. So that's been the biggest change.
Yay! But that's still a good news.
It's
right?
very good news. Yeah, I'm very thankful. Thank you to our clients who don't leave us, who are they're attached to us, I guess, to the team and everything. So that's a testament to the branding, to the brand, and everything in our business. And I'm super thankful.
I remember back in December, before end of the 2019, I was so hopeful for 2020.
Me too.
And then I have a group of high school students from Diamond Bar High. They came to visit me because I think they had a class. The school want them to visit different field of healthcare.
I see.
And they came in to interview me and then shadowing how I was treating my patients.
That's cool.
In chiropractic and acupuncture.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting questions they asked me is, what do you think, how have the technology changed our life and how technology have, how would the technology replace our work?
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you and me, we both are in the field that technology, it's a supporting to our business, but it cannot completely replace what we are doing right now.
Yes. And
Right?
I don't think it ever will. I don't think so. Yeah. The AI can be very good, right? But you touch and feel the spine and then you go, oh, this is off or whatever, right? And then you go adjust it. But like a robot or a AI scanner or whatever, I just don't think it'll ever be that.
I think people still have to be monitoring it, which means you have a machine there and then you're still behind the machine, just like how they do surgery with machine. You still have to be.
There's a guy.
You still need that controlling person and behind those robots.
Or a human touch too, an emotional human touch. Yeah.
And that the feeling is different when you're trying to touch the patient and you don't feel like when it's a machine treating.
Imagine a machine gonna adjust you, and it's just like gonna just go. Like you can't feel your tension, perhaps, or it can't feel or register your emotion. Just bam, just like.
But the AI is interesting.
Yeah.
They can use all these data and build up a system. Like they have a record to know. Wow, usually this tension.
Hopefully it can do it.
Yeah, and hopefully it shows like this segment needs an adjustment. But still, I think everyone is customized.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened is, let's start with me today. Then.
Okay.
And what happened is she asked me if tool is used in help with my treatment. I use all type of tools. And I do recommend a type of different type of tools when they go home to help with their muscle healing process. And I did try Hyper Ice.
What's that?
It's a massage tool that is very popular in athletic training.
Hyper Ice?
Hyper Ice. What did I say?
No, I don't know what it is. That's why.
Oh yeah, it's Hyper Ice, and it's a massage tool that will help release the muscle. But because of there's different level of tension and everyone is not trained to know how deep the muscle should be stimulated. So I don't use it on all the patient, and I usually don't recommend patients who are only in minor injury or acute state all of a sudden to use this tool to treat themselves.
How come you don't use on me?
I think we did. I remember you shared one of the episode about Theragun?
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about how is your experience with that tool?
I love it. I mean, it's great as far as stimulating. It's a different type of stimulation. Like you said, there are different levels, right?
Yes.
So there are times where it's great I think it's great in terms of maintenance. If I were to use it every day, morning and night, or whenever I'm in a like seated position like this for a long time, I would ideally use it right after to keep myself limber. It's just so freaking loud.
Oh yeah, it is very loud, and it's very interesting. When we use the Theragun treating patient, we still talk, we chat when we are in treating room, and you all hear that our patient responding.
Yeah, like when they're talking, right?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like
that's exactly what happened. But I usually use the lowest grade. Most of
there's
the
only
time.
one setting on the Theragun.
Oh, is there a different type or only one type?
We got, I don't know if they're different types. This was before it became so popular.
Yeah.
So my husband bought it for me because he's like, oh, this is expensive. It should work, right? So we're like, okay, let's try it. And then, but we did find that it was very powerful in terms of stimulating the muscle and doing a little bit of like, what it's trying to do is the myofascial release.
Yes.
But it's not at that point where it's not the same if you're rolling on a lacrosse ball or a foam roller. It's a little bit different.
We got our little
foam
tool.
Roller. Yeah. I have a bunch of tools over there too.
So I usually recommend what to my patient in clinic is...
Oh, this one too?
Hand sanitizer for the time. Okay.
That's cute.
So this is a lacrosse ball. Let's start with this. I usually recommend my patient to get a lacrosse ball at home. It's very easy because you really don't want to break your partner's thumb or wrist or elbow.
Well, you wouldn't be able to have the strength.
Yeah, and you won't know. You will have to tell them where it is.
Right.
But with the lacrosse ball, I usually recommend use this on the floor or on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's just rolling the muscle that where there's a knot building up, and it will release those muscle tension. Yeah. So lacrosse ball is one of them. And for some people or more petite patients or female or kids, I recommend those tennis ball. Yeah. For athlete or for us, if we use tennis ball, it might break. But
it doesn't penetrate the way it should. It doesn't have the density.
It's not as hard as this. It's not as bumpy, and then it doesn't really.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah, but it's still it's an option. Some people they don't like it as hard this way. So this is a good tool. Another one I recommend would be the roller. I got a mini one so we can demonstrate here, but this one has these bumpy part that can treat those muscle tension. For example, IT band right around your thigh. You can do it, roll it, and also the back.
Hurts so bad.
It is very
so
tension. Yeah, so I try to treat the patient in the office with the hyper ice sometimes, or usually we also in acupuncture we use the gua sha tool. And we call it, it's a scraping technique.
Oh, the scraper.
And there's different tool on that too. Yeah, and we usually recommend patient to get roller first on their own, because scraping tool is need more training and need more understanding of their own body and the muscle before go into those scraping tools.
Yeah, the scraping tool reminds me. I was watching this YouTube video, and then this guy came in. He was in a lot of pain or whatever, and was a Caucasian doctor, and he's using this metal smooth scraping tool, right? And she just scraped the hell out of his back, and it was all red and blotchy and everything.
That is one of.
And he was crying.
Yeah, the metal, that would be a stainless steel tool, and it still create in different angle, different shape.
Looks like a boomerang, like a little, like slightly like a boomerang.
It's called Graston technique in chiropractic.
Graston,
Graston, Graston, Graston technique. It's one of the technique used in chiropractic. It's interesting how chiropractic are combined with acupuncture, because especially in Asia, Chinese medicine does not just include acupuncture. It includes the acupuncture itself. It includes the herbal treatment, and also include these pain management using the tool. And we use cupping or guasa. And how the name Graston, I believe probably the founder went to Asia and developed this technique.
Copy. You stole it.
Yeah. So, but again, those tools, they use stainless steel for the grass-end technique, and you will see mostly used on athlete. And different tool of these scraping technique will have different effect. So if they're using metal for stainless steel, or if they're using horns, okay, the horns,
like a real horn.
real horns, but it's in shape. They made it in shape.
You mean like an animal horn?
Yeah, animal horns. Yeah, yeah, and then
I'm down for it. Like, do it.
So those has more clearing heat effect and more dispersing effect, more expelling the toxin effect. So if they're in very severe state, for example, most of the athletes, when they have a chronic spasm or tension around in the muscle, they will use the tool like this. But if it's we usually in my patient, I use the wood tool. Wood scraping tool, wood guasa tool, because wood in related to Chinese medicine 5 element, they have we have this wood element. It's related to liver, gallbladder, and it has a soothing effect. Not the smoothie this time, but the smooth. And
then you get a smoothie right after.
I really feel like smoothie weather today. So the soothing effect for this tension will help harmonize these muscle tension and not just dispelling the toxin, but harmonizing it.
So on the level, you said there's levels to the pain management and these types of tools, right?
Yeah, and again, I didn't finish on this. These are the bumpy one. It may be really painful, and people can start with those foam roller that it has a smooth surface.
So levels as in more intense.
So these will have a stronger effect because it's stronger tension to it, and it's more painful though. Yeah. So
got to do it.
Especially for this this size, we use it for IT band. It's very relieving after you try yourself.
I've been doing that. Like when you told me the right quad is very tight, and then the right calf, that muscle on the outside, not the main one, but like near the
lateral side, we call it. It's
the lateral side. That one, and then when I was rolling that out with the bumpy foam roller, it was like so tender,
very tender.
That's why I'm kind of sore today. But
did you just try this morning?
No, I've been doing it the last 2 days because I was like, oh cool, like that's tight or whatever, and it's pulling on this and this is pulling here, so I've been rolling it out and I've just been sore for the last but it was like intense.
Yeah, but again, I would still recommend everyone to talk to their doctor first before they try their self, because your muscle having this tension is a protective mechanism for the body, but if you have it too loose, you don't want your joint to be wiggling around.
That's really interesting though when you say it's protecting, right? That's when I first learned. I also researched this when I had a back spasm, that your body is doing that to protect your spine.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, so it's not like a bad thing.
It's actually not
signaling me, hey, you need to strengthen this, hey, you need to stop working or whatever, right? Whatever the signal is. And I just thought that was so good for the mental part of it. Whenever you get in an inflamed state like that, you're like, oh, my body is telling me that you were going to really injure yourself. So it's protecting it. So you need to stop whatever you're doing and then fix it,
And that's the part we believe that our health, it's a holistic view. It's just not just your muscle itself, the whole body, the wellness, not just the pain itself physically, but also emotionally. Are we accepting this pain? And also
good.
And emotionally and all the mentally, if it's okay, I accept this, let's deal with it.
So fix it now. It's just always like, hello, fix me, I'm broken a little bit.
And then the different tool we talked about earlier, the metal, the wood. And then we also have the jade roller.
Oh, yeah. What's the difference?
So jade is even more smooth compared to the wood.
Compared to the metal?
And of course, that would be the most highest level. The metal or wood would be the strongest.
Oh, okay.
And then the wood would be around the middle. And then lastly, we have the lacrosse ball right between it. So wood, and then the plastic, and then the last one would be the jade. I would usually recommend using the jade for the face.
Jade's the softest or the less intense?
Most rejuvenating.
Okay, jade to stainless steel.
Yeah,
Got
there's
you.
a scale there, and then for the jade we use it for face, for small muscle and delicate muscle. Yeah, so you can do the scraping technique
That's
for
why
the
I see that
facial
roller.
grasa,
And
then the roller with the jade for the face.
I see.
And there are some wood one for the face too, but usually wood one would recommend for a patient with more acne. Yeah, because you want to disperse more heat out of the face, but I still don't recommend doing yourself without somebody teaching you first.
Why?
Yeah.
What happens if you do it yourself?
If you do it too much, you don't want to increase too much circulation to the area, because when we are doing these scraping technique, we are creating an inflammation to the local tissue. And that's why you see the redness of patchiness. And in Western medicine, we talk about this as we are breaking the fibers. We are breaking the tension in this fiber so that the muscle can rebuild in the proper way. So yeah, and then you see those redness, we describe it as it's a blood vessel on the surface of the tissue. You're bringing the circulation to the surface and stimulate your body to locally to work on this.
Sounds like acupuncture, how you explained to me the acupuncture before.
I explained to all my acupuncture patients, but also the chiropractic patient, because again, the scraping technique was in Asian for a couple thousand years. It didn't just happen in the last 100 years. Yeah. So the Graston technique, I really believe it come from Asia with this gua sha. We call it scraping technique.
Gua sha. Cool.
But again, with more scientific base theory, they have more. They build up a more system-wise in the Graston. So for doctors who are certified with Graston technique, there's a different level of tension they apply to the tissue, and with the knowledge of different area of the muscle, they know what type of technique to use, which tool to use, and how much tension to use on different area.
Cool. Standards of procedure.
So that we won't be able to, so we will be able to know, like, this type of patient, we are doing this way, we are doing properly, or it's beneficial for them.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is that what you do there at the clinic too? Because I don't see you offer in the...
I don't use Graston technique. I don't use the stainless steel. Again, most of my patients are they're work from home for now times, or they're
not athletes.
Home mom, not much of athlete. I have colleagues that are treating athlete only.
Yeah.
They definitely use the Graston technique with stainless steel more often.
Good to know. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then so try the face, because on the face we have the facial cupping too. And again,
you cup the face too?
Yeah, but you don't get those marks on the face though.
Really?
No, you don't get those purple redness.
I'd be like...
then that would be a natural red cheek right here.
I'd be like, blush for life.
Well, but that's cute too.
Yeah, I'd be like, ooh.
No.
You get little heart-shaped ones.
Oh, yes. We have a heart-shaped cupping in the clinic available. So when you do see those redness or the purpleness, or some people are more pale after their cupping, that theory behind is still similar to the scraping when you see the redness. The muscle tissue, they are healing, and then we use the vacuum. We create a vacuum status with the cupping, not just the fire cupping, because it's just a different tool. The information shared on this podcast does not replace any medical advice from your doctor. Our goal is to inspire and share our personal stories on health and wellness. For today's episode, thank you Photo Booth SoCal for the sponsorship of this beautiful flower wall. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Dr. Barbara Chang at Happiness Wellness Acupuncture and Chiropractics in Chino, California. Find us on Instagram, happiness.wellness, and Dr. Barbara Chang for more information.
So, welcome back from the break, and we were just talking about the cupping for the body, and when you do see these purpleness or the paleness from cupping, it actually are related to the theory behind Graston. we are creating a localized healing process for the muscle, the tissue. Also, in Chinese medicine, we talk about to relieve the toxin from the inside your body to help heal.
It's actually pulling it out. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we create that vacuum status on the inside the cup with either the fire cupping or the air cupping to create this vacuum.
Which one's the fire one? You actually put fire in there?
Oh, the fire one? Yeah, we use it's usually either it's glass or ceramic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's different shape too. We do have a circular shape or the heart shape again to create this vacuum status with the fire. So when we put the fire inside the cup, it creates that vacuum status. So it has a suction. It will stay on the skin.
Oh, that's what I've seen. I've seen in the TV. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So those fire cupping has a similar effect to air cupping. Again, we are still creating that vacuum. And when we suck the muscle up with a little bit tension, we are creating that. We're creating an inflammation to that spot, making the blood vessel to come up to the surface and breaking these tissue to re-heal this muscle.
Would you recommend that for my low back issue, for this chronic
For
thing?
your condition, it's different because a lot of time cupping are used in first acute and excess condition. So what we mean by excess means there's severe stagnation or severe acute.
For example, what kind of injury would that be?
I would say if they are having a cold.
Okay.
You know how when we have a
For
cold,
a cold,
and
Wow.
when we have a cold and we have the fever, your body is fighting that state. You need to release out these flame, release out these toxin. Then it's recommended. That's one thing. Another type of acute we don't recommend is when you're in a very inflamed state. When you just sprain your ankle, you just sprain your muscle. At that time, the muscle is very swollen and very fragile. There is a bloodletting cupping technique in Asia, but it's not used in America because there's it's more precautious for possibility of infection, and bleeding is just a little bit more intense. But if there's a acute state of sprain, the swollenness, they use bloodletting technique with acupuncture, and then they use a cupping, creative suction to increase the circulation to the area to speed up the healing process. So that's why it's very commonly to use these techniques on the field, because a lot of athletes, when they are going on a competition, they do need these help right away so that they can get back on the field right away.
Intense.
Yeah, intense. So you see those cupping on Olympic. Yeah, because they release the muscle tension right away, so it creates these increase the performance, increase the.
But for a normal person, it's not recommended. You say
it's recommended, but it depends.
Yeah.
Again, it's depend. And for your stay, I wouldn't recommend because at this point you're not as intense.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
So those are some cool fact about all these technique that we use.
Tools, huh?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the robot won't be able to manage which one to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing in my clinic, and I thought it was interesting how they were asking me. I was like, I won't be able to replace by the technique, but with this pandemic, I can do a virtual acupuncture. But we can do a virtual diagnosis with acupuncture, because when patients come into a clinic, we can see how they look, the way they respond, their mentality, their shen in Chinese. Shen means the not just the translation is God, but again, it's also meaning in Chinese is the essence, the presence, the vitality of how you present. So we observe patients' shen, see what's their state at, and then we also look into their pulse. We check their pulse diagnosis. That I can't do virtual, but we can check their tongue and see what is showing on their tongue to differentiate and to diagnose how are they doing recently. Yeah, because tongue is, our body won't lie. Whatever manifests on our face, on our tongue, and our paws, and our mental state, everything, it's all related. So we can observe that to reinforce what we are. We come up with a diagnosis from patients' symptoms and
That's
their
cool.
complaint. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the way I can only do virtual, but most of the time chiropractic, acupuncture, I still have to see patient face to face. And I know that you talk about how the wedding is still going on. How have the technology helped at this time?
Well, most of our meetings are online. Like tomorrow, I have another online meeting where I just meet clients and we consult. And then we have a conversation like this where it's just like, well, when things clear up, we'll shoot your engagement. and if things are cool next year, we'll shoot your wedding, you know? So a lot of it it feels kind of uncertain, but fortunately people are still coming to us. They still see our business as viable. And I just execute our meetings online. And I always did meetings online anyway before this. So it's nothing really new for me.
But that's a part of how technology is really needed.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
even this, we need the technology
All
to
the
help.
things that I've been doing, like they weren't so, I guess, like necessary before or even priority to create content.
Yes.
Right. To get good at creating content too. To be good at setting up something like this or have all of this ready. So we had all that kind of like done already. So when we hit with this pandemic, it's just like, all right, like we're ready for it.
Exactly.
In a way.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, in a way it tested us that we can't go out to the field and shoot. But at least on the home front, we're good. We're pretty good.
Or within a studio, you can still perform some of the...
Well, we can't even go to our own studio because
you can,
of the... we can't go. So.
What about the virtual wedding? Is that possible?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because our client pay for a certain type of look.
Oh,
right?
your clients prefer the actual wedding.
Yeah, yeah. You're not gonna pay over $3,000 to get married virtually.
Yeah,
that is the thinking right now. Will it change in the future because whatever our circumstances? Maybe.
Do you think that's gonna be more common later on? Or some of the people who didn't want to do a wedding and all of a sudden want to do the virtual wedding?
I don't know. I mean, we can compose a shot virtually, but it's never going to be the same.
I see.
And so until the market, because the market will always decide for you, really. So if the client wants that.
Because I start seeing some of my friends, they're having the wedding online.
Yeah, online weddings.
It's a virtual wedding. Everyone is still celebrating is just through the screen.
I think, here's what I think will happen, what I think is reasonable, is the photographers still go out to shoot your wedding.
Yes.
But maybe your guests, all of your guests are not there. So it's a very intimate affair.
Yes.
Right? So maybe you have maybe 10 to like 30 people at your wedding, your most closest family and friends. So that still satisfies your, immediate family and you get to be together, and you still get your amazing photos, right? That you're paying top dollar for. I mean, if you're going to work with our company, and then, but all of your like other guests who are maybe just like friends of friends or acquaintances or whatever, maybe they just don't get to go to the wedding because of the crowd issue.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for people who can't have a wedding at this time. We actually have friends canceling their wedding, and it's very complicated because there's so much back and forth between vendors. Yeah. And it's very sad to hear all type of story at this time.
It sucks. All my emails are, I hope you're doing well at this time.
That's
we are going to postpone. I'm so sorry, but are you available on this date? And then fortunately I say yes. And then we just postpone, and that's most of my email correspondence going on.
Yeah. But looking forward for some other change coming after this, and I think I don't know. I put down a statement in my clinic this beginning of this year, right after February, because it was a month of love, and I always emphasize my gratitude to all my patients in the month of February, the month of love, and I put down in 2020, I believe love heals everything.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
the wedding and all these, what I do, I think it's my love for all my patients, because it's a energy that irreplaceable.
Yeah, I mean, you transfer your care, your passion, all of your expertise when you do your adjustment, right? Yeah.
That was my passion. I just feel like I'm so happy when I see people feel better after, and then they come back. They can dance, or they can play basketball, and they can do everything they want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I can do everything, because we still will have to refer some of the patient out for surgeries or steroid injections, or I very respect all the frontline medical worker who are still doing surgeries, who still treating the patients up front, and primary doctor.
It's a hard job, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard about how not just us, cats and dog are panicking too?
Panicking?
Yeah.
She's not panicking.
She's not. I saw a news on the other day, and how one of the girls, she had, her cat was bleeding blood.
What?
Yeah, well, urinating blood, and she was very worried, and she went to the veterinary and asked him, "Oh, what happened?" And it was, the cat was too nervous because they're seeing the parents at home, and
what?
They just keep going to the restroom trying to pee, and
what the hell?
So there's no more water inside, and she tried to pee and then came out with blood. So animals feel the tension too.
Well, yeah, I mean they are definitely energy receptors. They're like, if you pay attention to them, they're very receptive of your energy.
And I think she's very calm because you usually work from home. Very, like we said before, it's very common. She see you around. Yeah. Okay, and then
that's interesting.
That's interesting. It's not just us. All the animal can feel the tension.
I'm sure.
Too.
Yeah.
They're
like, why are you here?
Why are you home? Why are you not going out? Why are you not going to?
This is usually when I make a mischief.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about how we feel about life and everything next episode.
Okay.
What do you want to do after?
After
all this?
Oh,
safer at home.
For sure, get back to work and send my team out again. I'm really concerned for my team that they don't get to work. Yeah. I'm very happy. I'm very okay, you know, but as long as my team is not working and they're going a little bit like crazy a little bit because they're not doing their passion. Yeah. I get to be home and do my passions. So I'm very lucky.
Because you're the one who organized all the event and you can do it from the screen. But going out on the field, you really can't shoot the scenery at home. Yeah, I want to go to the beach and look out all these beautiful scenery.
Yeah, and just to go out to eat again. Yeah. You know, have a date night again or something.
It's so hard. Yeah. Only to go and eat in the car. Oh my God.
I mean, like I'm super okay with it, but I'm just concerned everybody else, you know. And I think if this keeps going, it'll probably affect me too. I'm like, man, I'm getting a little crazy.
If it is going longer, right? Yeah. I hope it won't be that long.
Me too.
Okay. Good talk today. Okay. And I'll see you
Bye.
next.
Cool. Good one. Okay.
That's cool. We actually touch a lot.